The Swedish car companies Volvo and Polestar are going their separate ways. Let's find out why Volvo is no longer giving Polestar money. For the unversed, Polestar makes electric cars while Volvo still offers both electric and gas-powered models. Geely, the big Chinese company that owns both Volvo and Polestar, will now fully support Polestar financially. Here, we discuss why Volvo and Polestar aren't best friends anymore when it comes to money and how they will remain connected through their parent company Geely. Let us make you aware that Volvo used to fund Polestar, which makes electric cars, but now they won't anymore. Instead, the big Chinese company Geely, which owns both Volvo and Polestar, will be taking over the financial reins for Polestar. They might even become a bigger owner of Polestar too. So Polestar is still making electric cars, but they'll be doing it with a different financial partner now. This means Polestar will get the money it needs to keep running and making new electric cars. Polestar makes electric cars while Volvo still offers both gas and electric options. They still share things like car factories and research teams. So even though they're not financially linked with each other, they'll keep working together on some stuff. Volvo still has its own gas-powered cars and SUVs, plus new electric models coming out. They haven't gone all electric yet like Polestar. While Polestar only makes electric cars, which are getting less popular right now, they're also struggling because they only have one car model available in the US, which is the Polestar 2, and haven't released new ones very quickly. So even though electric cars are getting more popular, Polestar might need to change things up a bit to get their sales back on track. They could offer more car models or release new ones faster to attract more buyers. While Polestar only makes electric cars, which are getting less popular right now, they're also struggling because they only have one car model available in the US, which is the Polestar 2, and haven't released new ones very quickly. So even though electric cars are getting more popular, Polestar might need to change things up a bit to get their sales back on track. They could offer more models or release new ones faster to attract more buyers. When Volvo announced they wouldn't be funding Polestar anymore, things got dissimilar. Volvo's stock price actually went up by over 30%. This means investors seem to think it was a good move for Volvo. Polestar stock, however, has been doing poorly. Since going public last year, it's actually dropped in value by a whopping 83%. This suggests investors might be worried about Polestar's future without Volvo's support. So it seems like the news affected Volvo and Polestar quite differently in the stock market. To talk about its financial challenges, Polestar in a press release mentioned it has reduced its expected external funding need to approximately $1.3 billion until targeted cash flow break-even in 2025. The company also stated it's advancing on getting the additional external funding that's required. Taking a glance at the future of Polestar, well, it's not clear what is in store for the company in the long run. However, 2024 is believed to be a huge year for the firm. The company has introduced the Polestar 4. It means the car has no rear window in China, Australia, and Europe. Sometime later this year, Polestar 4 may reach the US. In the first quarter of 2024, the Polestar 3 SUV has been scheduled to be launched after quite a delay. It's because of software issues with its platform, which it shared with the Volvo X90, that is also affected. The sleek Polestar 5 sedan is scheduled to launch in 2025. You'll be amazed to note that the awesome Polestar 6 Roadster will be planned to follow in 2026. However, it'll be a really sad note if Polestar is not able to develop model numbers 5 or 6 considering the present business scenario. The reality could also be that both models could be a loss for the company. The electric car industry is getting tougher to compete in. Geely is now helping out another electric car company called Polestar, which was struggling. This is like when big companies team up because things are getting bad. This hasn't happened much since Tesla became super successful a few years ago. Tesla's success was fueled by low-cost loans, cool new tech, and Elon Musk's fame, but it took them a long time to make money. Now, other car companies, new companies, and people who invested a lot of money in electric cars are losing money and need to decide what to do next as the electric car industry gets more competitive. Geely, a big car company, owns Volvo, which makes a fancy electric car brand called Polestar. But Polestar and other smaller electric car companies are struggling because making electric cars is expensive and takes a lot of money. If the number of people buying electric cars go down, even more companies might go out of business or have to join forces with others. It's certainly shakeout time, mentioned Andy Leland, co-founder of supply chain specialist SC Insights. EV startups need to start showing both how they will move to profitability and how they will compete with larger players and the Chinese. Volvo stopped funding its electric car brand Polestar after Polestar sold way fewer cars than it promised. This is despite lowering its goal several times. For example, Polestar missed the 2023 delivery target that was in fact consistently revised downward. Simply put, Polestar wasn't selling enough cars to make money. Polestar also has the right of first refusal, Ingeloth said, whenever Hertz desires to take one of their vehicles out of the fleet. For the unaware, Polestar and Hertz had got into an argument in 2022 for the rental car giant to buy 65,000 cars in the period of coming 5 years. That agreement came on the heels of another milestone agreement to purchase 100,000 vehicles from Tesla. During that period, the EV deals were a sign that electric cars would be adopted in the mainstream. However, 2023 demonstrated to be a challenging year for the EV market as demand reduced and EV resale values also got down drastically. Hertz talked about these problems recently when it started selling off a large portion of its EV fleet in early 2024. Also, it looks like Polestar, after losing funding from Volvo, is attempting to avoid this consequence for its fleet. Used electric vehicle values are already fragile, considering EVs tend to depreciate more quickly than gas-powered vehicles. This can have a damaging impact on the sale price of new vehicles. The electric car company Polestar lost $735 million in the first 9 months of 2023, and that means they spent more money than they made. Back in 1996, a Swedish racing team called Flash Engineering started competing in car races. In 2005, they got a new name, Polestar Racing, and even started tuning regular cars to be faster. In 2015, the car company Volvo bought Polestar, but the racing team kept going with a different name, Scion Racing. So Polestar went from racing cars to making and selling its electric vehicles while still being friends with Volvo. Polestar has a complicated ownership history. Right now, the company is co-owned by two big players, Volvo Cars and Geely. In June 2022, Polestar started trading its shares on the stock market, which means people could buy and sell shares of the company. The company also branched out beyond cars. In August 2022, Polestar announced they could be teaming up with a company called Candela to make special electric boats. These boats wouldn't just float, they'd actually fly on underwater wings called hydrofoils. Want to know what's the role of Polestar? Providing the batteries and charging equipment to make these flying boats zoom around. If you liked watching our videos, click on like and subscribe to our channel.